What's up, y'all? It's your boy Jason here at the Cowpot Bros. Come let you guys know that the date for the anniversary episode has been set, and it's going to be Thursday, April the 21st, episode 53. Mark your calendars down for that. It's going to be a good show, and the main thing is we want to hear from you. So make sure you continue to send us your messages via cowpotbros.com, the message button there, cowpotbros@gmail.com, 405-877-BROS, or just hit us up on social media and let us know what you thought about the first year of the Cowpot Bros, what you liked, didn't like, favorite moments, favorite segments, what have you. Make sure you get those to us by Thursday, April the 14th, the week before. So make sure we have it in time to get it in for the show, okay? And no matter what, make sure you remember this. When it comes to all things Cowpot Bros, make sure you like us, love us, share us, and follow us. Because if you like us, why wouldn't you?
Welcome to the Cowpot Bros podcast. I'm your host, Terrence, and with me is my co-host, Jason, calling in for the Batcave in Indianapolis. Jason, how are you, my good man?
And I'm doing pretty good. Had a little bit of fun, a little bit of laughs before we started recording. So hopefully we can carry that into the show. Got 3 good topics coming up. Let's get into it, bro.
Yes, sir. Thank you for listening. This is episode 49 of the show. For the uninitiated, Cowpot Bros is the podcast to hear. We are a weekly podcast for fans of culture, current events, sports, life, and entertainment.
And as always, we are your hosts, Terrence and Jason, and every single Thursday, we come to you with a brand new episode where we discuss the current events of the day, sports, and the athletes we love.
And even some of the athletes we loathe. No matter the topic, you can expect a brutally honest and fun exchange of snark while learning through the lens of our 30 years of friendship that originated in Calumet Park, Illinois.
Folks, for more Cowpot Bros content, make sure you connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok under the handle Cowpot Bros or Cowpot Bros Podcast for more behind the scenes of the show and just to engage with us every single day. But do not forget that the Cowpot Bros Podcast is available to listen and subscribe for free wherever you listen to podcasts.
Like us, love us, share us, follow us. And folks, if you like us, hell, why wouldn't you?
That's right, folks. Like Terrence said earlier, we are the podcast to hear and watch. So make sure you're living it, loving it, and doing it.
Okay, Jason, both you and I are repping the Duke Blue Devils today. So that means it's March Madness time. And you can't talk about March Madness really without talking about all this damn money.
Money.
Especially given the fact that most of the money is made by people in suits. But this is a unique time because, frankly, this is the first time with some of the new NCAA rules and regulations that players can actually cash in on their individual personalities and their individual gifts. And I'm referencing an article from WBZ Chicago, NPR, Jason Breslow, saying television rights for the men's March Madness college basketball tournament earned the National College Athletic Association a whopping $850 million last year. The players who competed, they made nothing. This year, it's a new ball game. It's not that the NCAA will be paying athletes when round 1 of the tournament kicks off this past Thursday. Instead, for the first time in history of March Madness, players can sign endorsement deals that allow them to capitalize off their popularity. Now, of course, this change is set in motion by a Supreme Court decision last summer that effectively upended years of resistance by the NCAA, and it blocked student athletes from getting paid for the use of their names, the images, and the likenesses. Less than a year later, a burgeoning multi-million-dollar industry has developed, transforming players from across the NCAA into a core of influencers who are money to endorse everything from the local restaurant in their college town to the major national brands like Gatorade and Nike. Now, of course, this has been extremely lucrative for college football and college basketball, but in many cases, women have out-earned the men as brands look to make inroads with a target audience that is both younger and female. Now, it's been reported that brands are expected to spend close to $600 million on name, image, and likeness deals by the time the first anniversary of the NCAA's policy change arrives in July, according to a recent white paper by the site Front Office Sports and Open Doors. So, not bad for a first year, right, Jason?
Yeah. A few things I definitely want to bring up based off just what you said, everything you said. The first thing is you mentioned the $850 million that the NCAA gained from last year's just the men's tournament. I will say, as some of you may know, I actually used to work for the NCAA, and I will tell you that between the men's and women's tournaments, the income they make from those two tournaments accounts for about 70 to 80% of the NCAA's annual revenue. So that obviously is a huge money draw for the NCAA. Not that anybody didn't know that, but to quantify and put a number to it, put a percentage to it, there you go. Also, want to point out because people I've seen and heard personally, people thinking that the NCAA is now paying players. The term "pay for play" was thrown out there, and as you said in the article, that's not the case, folks. The NCAA is not paying not one single athlete to play college sports for an NCAA school. Brands like Nike, Gatorade, Reebok, Adidas, your local car dealer around the corner, the neighborhood grocery store, they can now pay these athletes to basically endorse their product. The players can use their name, image, likeness because they couldn't do it before without getting in trouble with the NCAA. Some people are even just doing their thing on Instagram, and that's getting them followers there. And followers also brings them money because brand endorsers want to follow the kids who have a big following. If you have 1 million followers, now that you're a college athlete, boom, they're going to be on your doorstep. Um, in regards to the anniversary date coming up, and them guesstimating it's going to be about $600 million in NIL deals spent. I can't say that I'm surprised by that because I was working there last July whenever they kicked in, and sure enough, right around midnight, 12:01 a.m., somewhere around that time frame was the first NIL deal that went out. So people were waiting because I think it was about a week or two in advance prior to that date when it was announced that this date's going to be coming up to say, hey, you guys should start doing this. So people were getting ready, getting their deals ready, contracts written, and then once midnight hit, turning in July 1st, boom, deals are ready to go. So personally, I know it's a day that a lot of I remember back in like the beginning of like 2000s talking to people at work, and it was a big issue then about players should be paid, blah 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 blah, and talking about it then, or at least players should be allowed to make money off their name. So it's been an argument or discussion for a long time, probably well before that. And I know not everybody agrees with it outside of it, including general fans, because they feel like players making money off of playing college sports takes away from the purity of the college sports. They feel like, hey, you can turn your neck all you want. I've taken those phone calls at work of people saying it. People think recruiting is going to get messed up now, which I say to that, maybe, maybe not, but whatever. But yeah, but there are definitely people who are against even this. Even after you explain to them that they're not getting paid to play, it's paid off their name, image, and likeness. Personally, the way the NCAA kind of went about it, I personally think it was probably a good thing, and I'll go more into that later. But at the end of the day, NCAA's not paying them, but they can still make money off their name. Just imagine if Zion Williamson was able to do this at Duke while he was still there, bruh.
This is not about Zion Williamson because that guy was going pro no matter what. This is about
Stop,
the
stop. Hang
guy
on
on.
one second.
Stop,
Hang on one
stop.
second. No,
No,
because
let me
I
go.
was making a point.
This is about the guy on the
I was making a
12th.
point.
This is about the guy on the 12th man or woman on the bench. It's great because not everybody's going to make the jump to the league. And it also, I don't think it's going to affect recruiting because I think everyone's going to be doing it. I think every university in America is going to be working to see how they can maximize the reach of maybe their latest and greatest prospect that just signed because it's in your best interest to do so. A win for that individual athlete is a win for your organization, your university. And since I've already maintained that amateurism is the biggest bunch of horse shit known to mankind, good. It's overdue. The reason why the numbers, it's in the millions and it'll eventually be in the billions is because it was artificially suppressed in the first place. And so now a enterprise that was kind of sort of free enterprise unless it was the students. Now it's going to be free enterprise for all. So those are my initial thoughts.
No, keep going. You cut me off. Keep going.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even know. I mean, I know what the mindset is. The mindset is basically they're already getting scholarships. You should just be happy to get that. When the reality is, uh, the cost of college has never been higher, and also there is no replacement for money. The same reason that us that you can't just you can't just eat off a scholarship alone is the same reason why most employees aren't cool when their boss says, "How about we just have a pizza party instead of giving your ass a raise?" Because those are not the same things. All right, I'm done. Go ahead.
First of all, my point to bring up Zion, what I was going to go into, which I guess I can go into now, was all the money that the current athletes are making from these NIL deals. And what I'm saying is, and I agree with you, that obviously take any given football team, basketball team, whatever. Obviously, the bigger stars of the team are probably going to be making the larger, dollar amounts. Those have to have marketability, obviously. And what I'm saying is that obviously, the bigger the superstar, probably the more money they would have made. I have to imagine it's not really that big, huge superstars in college sports, at least not college basketball anymore. But the last one was obviously Zion Williamson, right? Big time in high school, Instagram following from all his dunks, and now here he is on the biggest stage playing at Duke. So now is my point that I was getting into, Mr. Cutoff guy. You should be shortstop for a baseball team, cutoff man. But one thing I do want to point out is what some of the rules are for this, for the NCAA, and as far as the NIL, because not just a complete free for all necessarily. But basically, and this is all on the NCAA website, ncaa.org. They have a whole page dedicated to NIL. So feel free to go there. Lots of different links, PDFs, whatnot. But basically, NCAA college athletes now have the opportunity to benefit from the name, image, likeness. All three divisions, 1, 2, and 3, have adopted a uniform interim policy suspending NCAA name, image, likeness rules for all incoming and current student athletes in all sports. The policy provides the following guidance to member schools, college athletes, and their families. 1, individuals can engage in NIL activities that are consistent with the law of the state where the school is located. So, hence, if you're going to U of I, Illinois, you got to follow whatever rules for that Illinois has. Colleges and universities may be a resource for state law questions. So, basically, reach out to them if you have any questions, not the NCAA. Individuals can use a personal service provider for NIL activities only. So this is one of those occasions where somebody can use an agent for these type of activities only. College athletes who attend a school in a state without any NIL law can engage in NIL activity without violating NCAA rules related to name, image, likeness. That potentially is where free for all may come into play if you live in a state that doesn't, or if you're going to a school in a state that doesn't have any laws. But lastly, state law, school, and conferences may impose reporting requirements. In other words, you may have to report or report any NIL deals you have to them. But basically, NCAA pawned it off on the schools, conferences, states for the moment until such time they decide to come up with their own NIL rules on the books. I personally can see why they would never do that. Me personally, why would you when you don't have to control it? But those are kind of the basic rules about it. So again, there's a whole website there. Go to do that. But yeah, simple as that. Make sure you follow state laws, school rules, anything like that. And even it's also bleeding over into high school athletes, perhaps, for lack of a better term, jumping the gun to go play in college just so they can take advantage of this. And there is a pretty big example of this. The number one, at least for last year, the number one high school prospect in the country, quarterback Quinn Ewers, hopefully I pronounced it right, skipped his senior year of high school and enrolled early at Ohio State in order to cash in on N.I.L deals. His largest deal, and keep in mind I said largest deal as in one because he has several. His largest deal was for $1.4 million over 3 years, and all he has to do is provide autographs for GT Sports Marketing. That's it. So basically, man, it's making almost $500,000 a year just to do autographs, and that's only one of his deals. And keep in mind, this kid wasn't even supposed to be in college yet. So yeah. So people are definitely excited about it. There's lots of big companies doing like even the whole NIL programs, including WWE, Degree, the deodorant company, Mercedes Benz. So yeah, man. Paige Buckers, the big star from women's star from the women's basketball UConn. She got a big deal with Gatorade. Again, she just had her freshman year last year. Now she's only a sophomore, making that Bitcoin, son. We always talk about Bitcoin. Well, they're making a little bit of coin. So there you go.
He'll be here all week, folks.
Unfortunately.
Oh my God. Hey, shout out to Paige though. I'm happy to see her, number one, healthy. Number two, getting some paper. The NCAA has made more money than God over the course of its entire existence off the backs of student athletes. And I feel like unless you've got some sort of point shaving scandal, this isn't going to do anything for the integrity of the game. The integrity of the game is still there. But behind the integrity of the game, there's still human beings with, heart, brains, hopes, wishes, dreams, and they should get the profit off of that shit just like everybody else does.
And now they are. Now, the one thing I do want to say, yes, everyone recognizes that the NCAA makes a lot of money from this one tournament. But I will say, inside information, that's revenue. They don't profit any money, basically. And there's reasons for that, which I won't go into on this show. But just putting it out there, they make a lot of money from the tournaments, but they don't keep a lot of it. So FYI.
They don't make a lot, but they don't keep a lot, because if they did, they'd be hell to pay. Anyways.
Well, they are not-for-profit companies, so that's probably part of it. But by the end of the day, they do have a lot of money going out, basically, is my whole point.
Yeah, not-for-profit. So's the Vatican.
Well, they have a different kind of scandals over there, so let's not go there.
I was just joshing you, man, over this not-for-profit shit. I was like,
well, I'm just letting the people know, because that's also a thing out there as well. Because obviously everybody points out they make money, but not everybody thinks about the money going out, and that's what I'm pointing out to everybody, including you, because I'm sure you had your opinion about it as well.
Yeah, I did. Cool.
Exactly. I know you. I know what you got going on with your big bowling ball head.
All right. That concludes our segment on the NCAA name and likeness endeavor. Coming up next, we talked about Kim K last week. We're talking about Kanye West this week. Coming up next on Cal Park Bros.